that's what we are.
That's correct. Especially
I think people forget that we're from Kentucky.
That's right.
I apologize for the country accent. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
You want me to change?
Yeah, own your heritage.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Quit
asking.
I don't have that drop. You know that.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Soul Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing very well.
It's a beautiful day in BG, Bobo.
It doesn't feel like February.
No, it doesn't. Did you get out and do anything today? Out in the garden? Out doing some disc?
Just work.
Just work. All right.
Sorry.
Was out there with my boy.
Was out there with your boy?
Sure, we had a good
making
time.
memories.
We had a good time. Yeah, he likes to just throw balls all over the yard. That's a good time.
That's a good time. Yeah, we did a walk up on campus. Of course, the Hilltoppers, famous because our campus is a giant hill.
It's a beautiful campus.
It
Top of
is.
the hill.
Yeah, especially, sunset, beautiful February day. But pushing a 40-pound 4-year-old in a stroller up that hill, I got my workout in the day, boys.
Did you make him get out and walk a little bit?
Absolutely not. No, because it's right next to the road, and I thought just gotta suck it up, Buttercup.
Where was the path? Did you go up normal?
So we went up by the observatory,
Okay.
hung a left, then came down the middle of campus.
And then went back up?
No, we parked down at the bottom of campus. We went up and then came down.
Okay.
I don't want to, go down first and then end coming up. That's
Sure.
that's a recipe for failure.
I found that the last couple of times I've been on campus, I get a ticket every single time. Like, it doesn't matter where you park.
Yeah, the
they're
good
giving
news
you a
is you
ticket.
don't have to pay it.
Oh, I don't.
You
I
just throw it on the
gone
ground
here,
and
outta
scoff
here.
and move on with your life. They
Really?
have no power over you.
Really? You don't got to do that?
Nope.
I think it only registers if, like, you're a student there. And then they have some way to maybe track
Well,
it.
they hold your diploma. They hold your degree if you don't pay it.
Hey, there you
I
go.
had 8 parking tickets when I was on campus.
Never paid any of them.
I do. They'll hold your degree. They won't let you graduate unless
Still
you
hold
pay them.
mine.
I got one on my birthday for illegally parking.
Wow.
Oh, they don't care. I even tried to call my guys, it's my birthday. Can you just take this one away? And they were like, no, sir.
Oh, that's
Happy
right.
birthday.
You
Click.
worked on campus.
Yeah, I worked on campus. I lived on campus. So, yeah, lots of tickets.
There's a Western game tonight.
Yes, Western won.
Did they really?
Took the money line on our boys, and they came through.
Go Tops.
Go
We'll be
Tops.
talking about one of them tonight.
That's right.
Ooh.
Nice little tease there, Addy. We are doing tonight
Switch seats.
a 2024 rookie mock draft. We have the rankings on the website. Bobby dropped his rookie mock 1.0 this week, and so we are diving in with an episode, the three of us going through a 1 QB rookie mock draft. We each have, 4 different spots in each round. It's a snake draft, and we're just going to go through and explain our picks, explain our thought process, and talk about some of these rookies. It's both offense and defense. So if you're in a rookie draft, have one coming up, it's good to have this kind of practice to see what guys you like where, Bobo.
Yeah, it's a really fun class. The more I've kind of dug into it, the more I've watched a little tape on some of these wide receivers, some of the running backs. There are going to be some impressive numbers at the combine. It is a year, and we've talked about this, I feel like we need some combine help. I mean, I'm not Daniel Jeremiah. I'm not Bucky Brooks. We kind of get a gauge on the talent and where we think these guys kind of maybe need to go. But, where you think guys are going to go right now versus, after the draft, we know landing spots, we know production, we know combine metrics, we know how teams might play these guys. Especially later on in the first and the second round, could look quite different than what we're looking at right now. But a lot of fun guys.
Yeah, I saw that Brett Coleman was throwing out some comps on Twitter today, just like 2 pictures side by side with, in my opinion.
I know what you're going at.
And yeah, Jared Verse he had as Houston Texans coach D'Amico Ryans
Wow.
as the comp. So
Was that not? I think that was Whitney Merciless.
Was it Merciless? I did 59, and I think it was D'Amico Ryans. There was Merciless and Ryans were both number 59 for the Texans. I looked at the face. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is D'Amico Ryans.
It's just weird because they different positions, right? D'Amico Ryans is
was an inside linebacker, whereas
That was-
Merciless.
Jared Verse. He comped him too.
Let's assume it was Whitney Merciless then.
That'd be fine.
That'd be
Yeah.
a great. That's a very nice
Yeah,
comp.
he was really good.
Merciless had a very good career.
Did you see the Odunze one he did?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Who was it?
DeAndre Hopkins. I think,
Wow.
and someone else.
I think it was just DeAndre Hopkins, the only one I saw.
Dang, son.
Yeah. It's kind of got the mind turning a little bit.
Yeah, wheels turning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's a big 2 right now with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers, and then the the rookie draft really starts at 103.
But just like we talked about before we started, landing spots are going to be really interesting for some of these guys. What if Marvin Harrison goes to the Pats? What if Malik Nabers is a Charger? What if, Rome Odunze is a Giant? Good and bad for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, so we're going to get into it. And, boys, I'd say let's just go ahead and kick things off. It is Adam, Bobby, Josh, and then Josh, Bobby, Adam, and then it just repeats. And so we will go through here and make our picks, and then we'll post our teams on Twitter after the episode is over, and you can let us know who drafted the best team. So we have it scheduled to go out through 5 rounds. We'll see how this goes, if we can get through 5 rounds in a reasonable amount of time. So, Addy, you are on the clock with the 101. I feel like this is pretty easy, but take us inside that beautiful brain of yours.
Pretty easy here. We're going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
Every mock that I've seen, he doesn't get outside the top 5. Just a great prospect, one of the best prospects we've seen probably in a while. If you look at PFF numbies, yards per out run, he has a 2.98 career yards per out run, 13.5 ADOT, played out wide 84% of the time, 15% in the slot. So I think you're going to be able to use him all over the field at the next level. He's going to be a 1 immediately. And, I think he's going to have a great NFL career. We know about his dad.
The pedigree is good.
Good pedigree.
Very good pedigree.
So, this is pretty much a layup.
It's interesting to me how different styles they are really going to play. How tall was Marvin Harrison Sr.?
He wasn't that tall. He may have been 6'1", I think. 6 foot, 6'1".
Marvin Harrison, 6'4". Who do y'all think of when you watch Marvin Harrison? Does anybody come into your mind when you kind of watch him play?
I mean, he was a route running technician. He wasn't like a big catch, go up and get the contested catch or, that sort of thing, big body type of receiver. He was just kind of a smaller route running technician. He was famous near the end of his career for just basically catching the ball and going straight down. And it's funny, if you watch Reggie Wayne, if you watch T.Y. Hilton, near the end of their careers, they did the exact same thing. So Marvin Harrison was never the type that was going to like burn you with speed. He was just going to route you up and then drop to the ground like you've been shot. Or done the shooting, if the rumors are to be believed. Yeah, so...
what do you think, Addy? Who do you think of?
Oh, man, I don't know. He's pretty unique. He's pretty special.
Yeah.
I mean, good at contested catches, amazing separator, really, really good route runner. Not so much a yak guy, but, I mean, really good control on the sidelines. I think he's pretty special. I don't know, though, who he reminds me of.
Yeah, it's tough because the speed and his route running makes you think that he's about a 6'1", 6'2" type receiver. But then you're right, he has the size that is kind of – it's going to be tough to defend in the NFL with not only the separation but also the ball tracking ability and then the catch radius that he's going to have. I guess in my mind I kind of think a little bit about DK Metcalf just because he's huge, but I think he's different than DK Metcalf.
A lot more polished.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. He's almost like a little bit of a cross between like Keenan Allen and DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I do see some Keenan in him.
From the route running perspective.
Yeah, so Marvin Harrison Sr. was 6 foot, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is 6'4".
Yeah.
So I feel like these are, even though it's...
And we'll see. He'll probably be a little less than that. These colleges tend to bump up those numbies a little bit. But everything I've seen for the most part in these mocks has him going to Arizona. So hooking up with Kyler Murray, that'd be huge for Kyler Murray. I think that'd be fine for Marvin Harrison Jr. too.
I would be fine with him. I just hope he doesn't go to New England. That's the nightmare scenario where...
Yeah, especially with the news that came out today about our boy,
Bailey
our
Zappi,
beloved Bailey Zappi.
Watching film in the wide receiver room because the QB room was so toxic,
hate
right?
to see that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's coming off of multiple reports because they have a Patriots documentary in the works that is all this stuff's leaking that like Tom Brady was like, no way am I coming back to the Pats. Like Bill and I did our thing, but I have to get out of there.
Yeah.
And like multiple stories, I think 3 or 4, there was a tweet that I saw with like 3 or 4 players basically saying like, this is absolute hell. Like it's the worst experience
We've
playing
talked
for Bill
about that
Belichick.
a lot, that it seemed, I'm sure it was like a very tense, atmosphere.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Even though Bill seemed somewhat, I don't know, cool and interesting, you just feel like it would.
At work, it was all business,
Right.
baby.
Yep.
All business. All right, Bobo, you are up with the 102. I have a feeling you are going with a certain LSU wide receiver, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going Malik Nabers. I don't
All
think
right.
there's a whole lot of debate here. Malik Nabers is really impressive. I think he is going to be a special wide receiver in the NFL pretty quickly. Ability to run, great separation, 50-50 balls downfield. I think Nabers could be really, really good. A lot of the mocks that I have seen with him is, Nabers to the Chargers. I've seen Nabers to the Giants, which wouldn't be as fun. It's going to be landing spot dependent, I feel like, for these first 3 picks. We kind of know talent-wise who to kind of expect here in the top 3 to 5, but it is going to be interesting after we know where they go. It would be really hard. There are actually some leagues that I don't know that a lot of them draft like really pre-combine, but there are some that go
Before the draft,
before the
for
NFL
sure.
draft, which would be really, really hard. But I just really like Nabers. Nabers is a guy that I don't know that he will ever surpass Marvin Harrison in any of these mocks. But I think he's, for me, a pretty locked and loaded 102. I think he's pretty special.
That feels like
It's similar to last year, right? It was with the Bijan Gibbs stuff. I
Yep.
think people scoffed at you when you did it in the mock. People weren't happy about it over on Reddit.
Yeah.
Really lovely place, that Reddit.
Yeah.
But
10th circle of hell.
But I mean, I think those guys are pretty close. I don't think if someone did put them one, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think they're already they're both top 10 dynasty wide receivers already.
That's what my mock said. If Harrison is 1, then Nabers has to be 1B for me. I see him in the same light.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, and I thought this the same last year, and I was a little bit different last year because I didn't think Bijan, hate me if you want to, but I didn't think he was the talent maybe that everybody was. He was like, people thought he was this generational 101, and don't you dare put anybody at 101. Like, he's locked and loaded. And that's all fine, but now look back and be like, man, should I maybe not have just drafted Gibbs? Who do you want more in Dynasty right now? You want Bijan or you want Gibbs? You probably want Gibbs.
You want Gibbs.
And Superflex Stroud probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, there are these years where the 101 is worth a ton. And this year in particular, the 101 is worth a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if somebody floats something stupid for Marvin Harrison, I don't know, man. It might be the year to, just like last year with Bijan, if somebody comes and wants the 101 and will pay you something stupid, I would trade it away. Don't get too locked in on just Marvin Harrison or Malik Nabers or whoever. The 101 has a ton of
It's a
value
great
this
year to trade back from 101 to 102.
Yeah.
If
Or
you got-
102 to 103 if you believe in one of these next couple guys. I mean, there's going to be some movement. It just depends on the cost acquisition of doing business to move back, and also what your plan would be, as far as who you're going to grab, which I believe you're going to do now, Josh.
Yeah. So I'm up at 103 and 104. So I am using our player pool is the rookie rankings we have over on the website, theidpshow.com, available for paid supporters. Make sure you get in there and check those out if you do have rookie mock drafts coming up here soon. So I think I'm going to just stick with the rankings that we have, boys. The only hot take that I might have is that I think Brock Bowers is in play here at 3, just because tight end is such a shallow position, right? And if you can get a guy who is that sort of Sam Laporta next in line to Travis Kelce's throne, that's worth a lot, especially at those onesie positions where you can just have the guy. And especially if Brock Bowers lands in a good situation, I mean, you could be looking at a 3 top 4 tight end in Dynasty right off the bat. So I am going to go, though, Brian Thomas Jr. at the 103 and Brock Bowers at the 104. So talk to me about Brian Thomas Jr., because I know there are, Rome Odunze fans out there, Keon Coleman fans out there, but we've got Brian Thomas Jr., number 3 in the ranks for a reason. What do you boys think?
Bob's a huge fan.
Yeah.
I like him. I think you can definitely see the basketball background when you watch him play football. He's a uber athlete. I imagine he's going to test really well at the combine. But yeah, he's a fun player. If you look at the PFF stuff, I mean, everything you want to see from wide receiver, yards per out run, He had a 1.95, which is okay. I mean, it wasn't Marvin Harrison, which was 2.98, and Malik Nabers was 2.83, but still solid. I mean, LSU, he was competing with Nabers. Yak per reception was 5.3, so not a huge yak guy. But I mean, he's a fun receiver. You watch his tape. I think he's gonna be at worst a number 2 at the next level.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a top 30 pick, I imagine.
Yeah, Bobo has him. Reminds me of T. Higgins.
Yeah.
If I can get T. Higgins at 103, I'm very happy with that.
I don't think his route running is special, but I think you put him in zone. I think he has. I wrote up that he has a lot of awareness of where defenders are. You give him, a little zone defense, let him sit down. He's got great hands, catch the ball downfield. Exactly like Adam's saying. I don't think he has a ton of yak. I don't think his separation is elite, but I think he is. I think he is going to be a guy that's going to add to, a really good receiving core there in the NFL.
And Brock Bowers just strikes me as the classic, we're going to start to overthink this guy as we get closer to the draft. And it's just like, don't get cute.
Yeah.
Like this guy is a really solid, generational's been so overused at this point, it's pretty much meaningless. But this dude's just a really solid tight end prospect. And I have no problems at all taking a really good tight end prospect inside the top 5.
What are you doing right now if you're the Kyle Pitts manager?
I think you're excited for the new coach.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna have a great year. I love all those guys.
It can't get worse.
Probably same with Bijan.
I mean, what if they trade for Justin Fields?
Yeah, Drake London.
I like all those guys.
I mean, you got.
I won't like that really as much. Although I mean, he I wasn't crazy about him for DJ Moore's fantasy output, but I mean that worked out just fine.
I mean, the options that you're looking at out there:
Tannehill,
Russell Wilson.
Not great.
Cousins.
So it's like
maybe they could trade up though. They do have the 8th pick. Maybe one of these guys falls.
Yeah,
we could easily see that. I
think someone's going to make the move up the board for like a Jayden Daniels type.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, but I mean, I love Brock Bowers. I think he's already like a top 3 dynasty tight end.
Yeah. I mean, you probably put him 3 behind Laporta. You still have Pitts inside the top 3.
He's top 5, I'd say.
I think you got to keep Kelsey.
I think Bowers is top 3. I mean, Bowers. He's been productive every single year at Georgia. 56 catches, 714 yards, and 6 touchdowns. This past year, 63 catches, 942 yards, 7 touchdowns in 2022.
Wow.
56 catches, 882 yards, 13 touchdowns in 2021.
Yeah, just don't get cute with Bowers.
6'4", 230. I mean, I feel like he's going to test really well at the combine.
You know what it is? I think it's the picture that's been making the rounds of him next to Gronk, where everyone's like, he looks like a
smaller,
a rocket engineering student who's like super into D&D.
Gronk's also enormous. He's also probably the 90th percentile size for tight ends.
Gronk's also been able to shed some of that bulky playing weight, so he's like kind of svelte, whereas, Brock Bowers is still like kind of chunky and in that.
Entering the NFL, these guys are always going to gain a little weight too. All right, now, real life, Colts draft Bowers.
I'm thrilled.
You're at the 103 in the XFL. 102 goes the same. Are you really having a hard time not picking Bowers at 103?
I'm probably going Bowers at 103.
And you do have Richardson in there, too.
Exactly. So double boner points.
Josh Downs is gone, right?
No, Downs is still around.
Didn't you trade him?
Nope, still there.
Okay.
I got him. I need
as I'm talking about our league.
Must be thinking something
sorry.
else.
Yeah, sorry.
Our bad.
It's all the reviewers out there, Reddit posters. All right, so Bobo, you are up at 105.
Yeah.
So let us know who you're going with here.
All right, so I'm going to switch it up from the mock. We're going Odunze here.
Ooh, Addy is shook.
Yeah. Adam makes a good point. What if the problem, in my mind, is not Odunze? What if it's Michael Penix? What if Penix is just, not that good? And, after the combine, maybe we see Penix doesn't run a great 40, doesn't have the accuracy, doesn't have the arm. And then people say, wow, maybe Odunze should be in that. And I know he is, but in my mind, maybe I need to start putting him in that 1A, 1B, 1C type category with Marvin Harrison.
Is it Penix or is it Penix?
Whatever.
Who knows?
Because
I think it's a
makes
southern.
me a
No one
little.
knows.
It makes me a little nervous.
I
No
think
one
that's
knows.
a southern thing.
It's
like
impossible to know.
pecan or pecan.
Yeah.
What do y'all say?
I say pecan.
I say pecan.
Allie just brought home a pecan pie. Pecan. So I
Say
go
pecan.
Yeah.
Wow. Who's right?
It's possible to know. Penix? We'll never know,
It's probably
I guess.
Panics, but I don't.
Did you just say Panics? Like with like Panic at the
I'm
Disco?
trying to really put the long E in the E.
Penix.
It just depends on where you put the pronunciation, like where you put the
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
whatever. Rome Odunze, we're going
Rome
there,
Odunze, 105.
I'm
Adam,
with you though. I mean, the more I watch of Rome, the more impressed I was with him, and the less impressed I was with his quarterback.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I've heard a lot of people talk about the arm strength of Penix, but I don't. He floats a lot of balls. I mean, he not very accurate with it. Like,
didn't look great in the national championship.
No,
He got beat up.
but I mean, Rome had to I feel like he had to make a lot of unnecessary adjustments to catch balls that were thrown his way. So I feel like you put him with a elite quarterback. Oh boy,
Rome could be in that Nabers category pretty quickly. You could probably start having that 102, and people probably are now. But
yeah, I think so. I'd be fine with it. I think if you got to 103, you're in a good spot.
I'd be
happy with all three of those receivers.
Yeah. Seems like there's a plethora of options available at 103. So it's like,
And getting him here at 105, that's easy.
Do
It's
you
easy
see
money.
as big of a difference between all the options at 3 versus 1 and 2? Because if you're at 101 and you're like, I like all these guys that are available at 103 just as much as the top 2, trade back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you like to see. You actually, I wouldn't like it if I was at 101 and there was just a clear cut 101 and then a big tier drop and then a bunch of options from 102 onward.
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of stuck. You don't really want to trade back. You're kind of handcuffed to taking that guy at 101.
So there have been the years where it's like, all right, Josh Jacobs, I have to take it 101. And then I think that was the N'Keal Harry year where you're like, gosh, I guess I'm considering N'Keal Harry there. You're exactly right, Josh, that there feels like a pretty clear top 4 here. If you want to include Bowers, I don't know that I'm getting that high with him. But if you're 101, 102, 103, you're feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah. So, Addy, you're back up now at, let's see. No, you're,
106, 107.
You're at 106 and 107. Rome just went off the board.
I do feel like there's a pretty big tier break after those first 5.
Okay, so that's the top 5.
I like those top 5. And then you get into some guys with a lot of question marks here. All the running backs, I mean, everything I'm seeing, like none of these guys are getting first round capital. I mean, I think we may see like 2 of them go in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which 2? Who knows? Trey Benson, maybe. Jonathon Brooks, maybe. Braelon Allen. Who knows? So I don't feel great about the running backs right now. So I still feel like I see 2 wide receivers that are going to get first round capital. And that would be Troy Franklin and Keon Coleman.
Okay, so you're going Troy Franklin at the
I don't know
106?
that I'm going to go Keon Coleman yet.
Okay, so Troy Franklin at 106. Final answer? Locking it in?
Oh man.
This is tough. This is where it gets really interesting. I will say you have this great feature in your spreadsheet of averaging all the mock drafts. And Troy Franklin is averaging right outside the first round. So he's averaging at basically the 36th pick amongst all these mocks.
I'll go with Troy Franklin, and I'll go with Keon Coleman, hoping both those guys get first round capital, hoping that Keon Coleman lands with a really good quarterback. I do worry about him as a separator, but I think he is really, really good at contested catches because he's got a lot of experience with it. But I think I've been seeing like him get mocked at the end of the first, like if he landed somewhere like Kansas City.
Yeah, 27.4 average in the mocks that you. Or Keon Coleman.
So Keon Coleman, he's 6'4", 210. So I mean, great size. So that's tough though, man. I really, really like Xavier Worthy. He's not getting the draft capital in these mocks that some of these other guys are getting, but I think he absolutely is deserving of it.
This is kind of interesting. If he goes 27.5, that is either the Texans or the Bills. For
both those,
both of those
great.
would be
that'd be great,
really good.
And yeah, I mean these guys going at the end of the first, they're going to go in situations where they probably have pretty solid teams.
You kind of
setups.
actually like that later first round draft capital for these wide receivers because they're probably going to be playing with better quarterbacks.
Okay, we're going to go with Troy Franklin, who just has elite speed. I mean, just insane speed. Probably some of the best bursts, like outside of Nabers, I'd say, in this wide receiver class. And he was extremely productive last year. 81 catches, 1,383 yards, 14 touchdowns. So good player. And then Keon Coleman, everything I just said. He wasn't the most productive player in college, but I like him. He's got that dog in him too. I like
dog?
that. He's absolutely. He's
got-
probably the biggest dog out of all these boys.
The dog toggle box.
I think those are two of the most athletic wide receivers out of the draft. Keon Coleman has probably the biggest catch radius, I think, of any of the wide receivers. You might be right. His separation might lack a little bit, but I think he's going to make up for it with his hands and just being how big he is. And then, honestly, Keon Coleman makes some dumb catches. You watch some of his highlight reel. He's fun to watch. But no, Troy Franklin is a guy that I love also. I just want to read this. Franklin's speed and separation are unparalleled in this year's draft and would suit the fancy of a team not looking for a tall, big-bodied receiver. I like Franklin a lot. He could shoot up the draft boards if he runs a really quick combine. So, Troy Franklin, dear God, I don't know. I think Troy Franklin could be a guy that is in that 105-ish category, maybe after the combine. You're going to see him test pretty stupid, I think. But I think those are the right picks there. I think Coleman, I think Franklin, I think they're going to get exactly like y'all are saying. They're going to get back of the first capital. They're going to go to some decent teams, and decent teams with a good quarterback. Sometimes the 105 ends up being a little bit better than the 102 or 103 some years. Love Nabers and stuff like that, but landing spot is really, really important.
Yeah, I was going to say we have just looking at possible landing spots if these guys do go where these mock drafts are pegging them to go. Troy Franklin around pick 36. The team picking at 36 is the Washington Commanders.
Wow.
So, but it's like Arizona, Washington, and the LA Chargers. So, LA Chargers, Jim Harbaugh.
Chargers would be ridiculous if he went somewhere with a quarterback that has a strong arm. It would be very good for his career.
All right. Bobo, you were up at 108.
Yeah, so I hate to do this, but Adam already mentioned who I'm going to take here, and it's Xavier Worthy. Worthy was my 108 in the mock 1.0. Yet another receiver in this deep class who could receive high draft capital. I feel like Worthy, I don't know if he's going to be a first-round draft pick, but I feel like he's going to be a pretty locked-in second-rounder. 6'1", 170 pounds is a little on the smaller size, but honestly, his tape at Texas is really impressive. It is kind of hard to determine at this point in the first round of these wide receivers kind of who to fluctuate on right now and kind of who's your fancy and who to take. But I feel like once Troy Franklin is off the board, Xavier Worthy is my next best 175-pound, 6'1" receiver that can get separation, get open, and I think he can be pretty dynamic in the NFL.
So we have Marvin Harrison Jr. at 6'4", 6'3", maybe.
Yeah.
Who are the other big-bodied wide receivers in this draft?
They're all huge.
Because it
Keon
seemed
Coleman.
like last year we had a bunch of little diminutive,
Brian Thomas is 6'4".
smaller
Yeah.
wide receivers.
Troy Franklin's 6'3", but he's 187.
Okay. So we've got some big boys in this draft.
A lot of big ones.
right.
There's
the
more.
Guy from Texas, Mitchell, is 6'4".
Adonai Mitchell. Xavier Legette's really tall also. There's another big one too. Oh, Johnny Wilson, the wide receiver from Florida State, is also really large. People don't know whether he's going to play wide receiver or tight end. There's one more too. I can't remember who it is, but anyways.
I love Xavier Worthy, though, man. He was productive early on at Texas.
Yeah.
Like immediately 62 catches, 981 yards, 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
A really big yak guy, 7.3 yards after catch per reception. That's among some of the tops in the class with like Malachi Corley, who was they schemed him for that type of yak.
It's really funny too. Wow, I just completely lost where I was going. It was really funny.
It was about tall receivers. I thought maybe you're going to follow up on your tall receiver point. It'll come back to you.
I'm lost.
Absolutely not. You guys only get one cut per episode. I'm going to use it on me early in the
That's why they're
episode.
turning it on us,
That's
Josh.
Get rid of one of y'all.
All the 1 stars. So 109, 110. I am not going to draft a man named Lad McConkey. So he is going to stay
That's
on
a
the
shame.
board. And we are going Trey Benson and Malachi Corley at 109 and 110. It is wild to me to see a Hilltopper here inside the first round, which I feel like is where Corley's going to end up. But Steve Smith Sr. did name him as his steal of the draft. And
Wow.
getting to watch Malachi Corley for the entirety of his WKU career, he is going to be a steal. I think he's going to be an absolute stud.
I love what Steve Smith said about him, too. He basically said, his knock is going to be, well, he didn't play against Big 10 or Big 12 or SEC play, but against the players that he played against, he absolutely dominated. So I agree with those picks there, Joshy. I think those are great. Malachi Corley.
I've always thought that's kind of a weird argument, too, because, we have enough data now in the NFL to say, what did this guy do after the catch?
The same
what
thing
was his
could be,
GPS data?
It could be said about Odunze, what is that, Pac-12? Not a super strong, NCAA football conference. But Odunze, dominated against the guys out there who he played against. I agree with that, Josh. I think that
feels really old, like a relic of old analysis.
Let me say this real quick about Trey Benson. I think it's going to be interesting to see where the NFL values Trey Benson, but I think he is maybe one of the most dynamic backs here in the draft. About 225 pounds. He's got great vision, got really good patience. Even with what I feel like is maybe one of the most stacked running back classes in terms of free agency in a long time, I feel like Benson could be one of, I don't know if this is who Adam was thinking about, but one of the 2 running backs that come off the board in the second round. I think he has big play speed. I think he has great ball protection. I really think that Benson could be a sneaky pick here late in the first round in some of these, 1 QB IDP drafts.
He is averaging 42 right now. Now, this was just, I think only the Pro Football Network had a mock that went out as far enough to include Benson, but they had him at 42, and that is the Minnesota Vikings, which would be very interesting. So, a lot of J.J. McCarthy rumors with your Vikes, Addy. How you feeling about that?
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
No one knows how to evaluate these quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot.
I mean, in the limited stuff that was the offense there in Michigan. They didn't really let him loose. He didn't have a ton of pass attempts per game and stuff. Like, he was one of the lowest in the nation with that stuff. So he's a hard evaluation just because there's not a ton of reps like some of these other guys have. But, I mean, I don't know. He seems like he's got the intangible stuff. I've seen him make nice throws in the highlights and stuff.
He just doesn't seem like a first-round quarterback to me, but I understand that if anyone has the look or whiff of a NFL quarterback, they get pushed up into the first round just because teams are so horny for quarterbacks. But I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of Michigan. I watched him in the national championship game and thought, really, this guy is going to be going middle of the first round, huh?
Some people like him. I mean, some people that I respect like him, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
see. Bobo, back to you at the 111 as we look to close out the first round here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this is a tricky spot.
Who just went? Who just went?
Trey Benson and Malachi Corley.
You took Benson?
I took Benson and Malachi Corley.
Okay, I'm going to shake it up just a little bit away from my mock because I kind of want to see what Adam does here at the turn, but I'm going to double down in Texas and I'm going to take Adonai Mitchell.
All right.
I think Adonai Mitchell is going to be another wide receiver that I kind of pegged him in the at the 201 in my mock as being a guy who was a nice little consolation prize if you didn't have a first-round draft pick. But Adonai Mitchell was really good at Texas. He's a little bit bigger than his counterpart there, Xavier Worthy, and I think he's going to have a role in the NFL. Mitchell's going to be a guy who probably doesn't have a ton of draft capital, I don't feel like, in the NFL, but I think he's going to have production. I just kind of like Mitchell. I don't really know what it is exactly. I can't peg him exactly what I like. I just like the way he plays.
I mean, they have him averaging across these mocks at about 35.
Oh, really? That high?
Which would be Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but I'll explain my
34.7.
reasoning. I just don't know about Ladd. I don't know how I would love to hear what you think about Ladd. I just don't know. Even after writing my mock, it's kind of like his production at Georgia was okay. And I know there's a Senior Bowl hype and everything, but I don't know. I just like Mitchell.
I like Ladd.
Okay. Knew we did.
Good name.
I was going to say, a grown man named Ladd McConkey.
Unreal Lad.
Sounds like
Unreal Lad.
A children's pirate show. Like this would be the captain of the ship.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Ladd. I mean, he's like, I think you're going to see, obviously, him get comped to all the white slot receivers,
Sure.
Hunter Renfrow and Wes Welkers.
Yeah.
But he's like
Brandon
I
Stokely.
think he's like a little
Alec
supercharged.
Pierce.
Like he's a little more explosive than those dudes.
Danny Woodhead.
You know, he is that size, but he wasn't just like a slot receiver at Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, they played him out wide a ton. He played Looks like he played just 30% of the snaps in the slot, 70% out wide. So it's still 2.54 yards per out run, 11.6 ADOT, 6.6 yak per reception. So I mean that's pretty good stuff. And yeah, I mean the production's not that great at Georgia, but
You're also at Georgia.
Is it Georgia? Yeah, I mean there was a lot of Brock Bowers was there, some a lot of talent there around him. So. Yeah, in the right system, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah, you have him, looks like about 48.5 average across these mocks. That would be in range for like the Jags, Bengals, or Eagles. So, again, just to give you guys an idea of like what could be possible landing spots, like what's in range for these guys based on where they are. So,
This is tough. I mean,
into the first round always feels kind of like especially in IDP leagues, it just feels like usually just a big old shrug of like, what do you like? What do you need?
I know what he's saying is tough. You've got this big glaring guy named Caleb Williams.
Exactly.
On the clock.
And that's what I think I'm going to have to take Caleb Williams here.
All right.
Just for the potential that maybe he is one of these, week winning type quarterbacks. He ends up being like a top 5 startup pick in the next year, right? I think that's possible with him. So I think at this point in the draft, with all the guys are going to have question marks at this point, and there'll be some of these other skill guys that land in good spots. Like I feel like some of these running backs are going to pop up the board. Like Trey Benson may overtake like Troy Franklin and Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
One of these running backs will.
People just love taking running backs in the first round.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a first round where only one running back goes.
But
in certain leagues, like our RSO league, like where you have these 4-year contracts on these rookies.
I want running backs in that.
You kind of want a running back because they're going to return quicker.
Use them up and then let them loose.
They're expensive on the second contract.
Yep.
But then sometimes you do get bit. You get James Cook, and you're like, I really want him for that long. You get Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon was hyped to be a late first rounder, whatever year that was, he was drafted. And now, is he still on the Colts?
There's examples both ways.
I agree. I'm just trying to be pessimistic about it.
I mean, I think
N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, that's true. That's accurate. At the 102. Shout out Benny.
You have Caleb Williams that is, I mean, quarterback's going to hold their value because Caleb Williams, if he goes at 101 to Chicago, which sounds like the kind of likely destination, he's going to be starting week 1, and I think will be a usable fantasy asset right out the gate.
Yeah.
Depending on the depth of your league, your situation. But I mean, some of these other rookies, I mean, you may be waiting several weeks before you're plugging them in. So I don't think it's ever bad to like plant your flag with quarterback because those guys are going to return value quickly, early, and hold their value for a very, very long time. So first round, we will recap here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas Jr., Brock Bowers, Odunze, Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, Trey Benson, Malachi Corley, Adonai Mitchell, and Caleb Williams at the 112. So, Addy, kick us off in the second round here. Who you going with at 201?
Oh boy. I like a lot of these running backs right here. I think I am going to go running back. I've already got 3 receivers and a quarterback, of course.
You going to leave Ladd?
Oh, Ladd's feeling real left out. On
I like Ladd.
Ship.
I like Ladd, but yeah,
let him talk you into it.
Let's let him
slide.
Let you guys take him.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Jonathon Brooks here.
Okay,
out of Texas. He's got really fun tape.
Jonathon
didn't have a ton of production outside of this past year, so that's kind of concerning. But Jesus, I mean, the dude is a fun watch. His high school production is outrageous. I was listening to our South Harmon boys talk about it. The guy was apparently a real stud in high school. So
again, it always is just a weird time of year where, like, this dude, let me tell you, when he got his Fazoli's on Thursdays, and got out on the field on Fridays, and had his girlfriend who was cheerleading. It's like it's just a
Once
weird
he got
thing.
his license, something happened to him.
Something changed. He was able to go to the gas station and get dip at lunch. It's just a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Have y'all noticed how like huge Zen is now?
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
It's crazy.
Jacob was telling me about Zen Rewards, and he got an iPad with his Zen Rewards.
Oh wow.
Yes, an actual iPad.
Damn. I
So-
dipped skull for 10 years and got nothing.
Got nothing but
Copenhagen.
lip cancer, baby. That's a fake lip, if you were wondering. That's why it looks so good. All right, so Jonathon Brooks at the 201. Bobo, you are at 202. Are you going to leave Lad McConkey on the board?
Oh my gosh. I didn't think we were going to be in this situation. Let's see what we have here. So we have Malik Nabers, Odunze, Xavier Worthy, and Adonai Mitchell. So in the first round, we went 4 wide receivers. And
Do it. Do it. Don't leave him on the board. Lad will be sad. Don't make him sad,
There's a lot of
McConkey.
talent on the board.
I'm not doing it. We're going IDP. I'm taking Dallas Turner.
Oh, wow.
Taking Dallas Turner at the 202. I think Dallas Turner is going to be special. The more I kind of watch about him, the more I kind of see some of these draft heads talking about Dallas Turner and his ability to kind of, help an NFL defense. I think Dallas Turner is going to rise in the actual NFL draft, and I think that right here at the 202 in 1 QB IDP mixed offense league, there are some fun offensive names here, but I feel like you get in the second round, don't get cute, don't throw too many darts. Let's just lock and load Dallas Turner as our LB1 in the class.
There you go.
Edge 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, we need
sorry.
to update that in the ranks. But, Edge goes off the board. We were wondering where the first Edge was going to go, and he goes at
Y'all hate
202,
it?
Addy.
No.
That feels like it's about,
feels fine.
start of the second is where I feel like most IDPs are in play.
He's going to get top 10 capital, I think.
Yep.
I think
so
he's
too.
going to tear the combine up. He's got the most upside out of all these edge rushers. I think we've talked about that since we started digging into these rookies.
Is there a money line on the first defensive player taken? It will probably. Is it going to be him or would it be
I
a
don't
corner?
know.
I've seen a lot of folks say Verse could be in there
Verse,
as well.
a lot of people like Verse as well.
Yep.
But
I think it's going to be Turner.
yeah,
I'd take that money.
I saw where my boy Tampa Bay Trey mocked Turner to Atlanta at 8.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be very nice. They need help.
Yeah, they need a lot of help.
And Verse went 11 to Minnesota.
They have a different
Ooh, I
defensive
like both those
coordinator
spots.
there than they had last year.
Who in Atlanta?
Atlanta.
It's going to be Raheem Morris.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Ooh, hey.
He's not calling plays,
Okay.
but he is going to be, the architect of the defense, I would
Because
think.
you basically said that the defensive coordinator in Atlanta last year liked a different type of edge. Who
Yep.
was it?
Well, that's the guy who's in Tampa now, which is was that Ryan Nielsen?
That's right.
Ryan Nielsen.
That's right.
So, we saw Arnold Ebiketie have a nice season. So
Turner would see a lot of snaps.
I think it's going to be very curious if they go with edge there. That makes my ears perk up because you've got a brand new staff there. This is their first draft pick. That defense needs an injection of talent. I could see the Falcons making a move up the board for quarterback. I think like Addy mentioned earlier. But if they don't and they sit pat there at number 8, that you could see, Dallas Turner go off the board and get top 10 draft capital. So let's see here. I wanted to see, Addy, where Dallas Turner was in terms of the draft capital, and you have his average at 10.3. So pretty much locked and loaded to get top 10 draft capital.
Yeah, I think so. He's my IDP 101.
For the rookies.
Yes.
Yep. Makes
Of
sense.
all of them. Over everybody.
Over everybody.
All right. So
He was a 5-star recruit, whereas Verse wasn't. He's also 21.1 versus 23.3.
that makes a difference. That's enough of an edge for me to go
Turner
over Verse.
Turner was productive as a freshman. If you missed the rookie primer episode, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of summary. 11 games, 30 tackles, 10 TFLs, 8.5 sacks as a freshman at Alabama. Every year was solid, but he's gotten high praise from previous teammates like Will Anderson.
He's going to be in this same mold, right?
I think so.
This is going to be
I think
Will
so.
Anderson 2.0 rolling off the Alabama assembly line.
I think so.
Yeah, that seems very secure. I love taking that because we've already seen the highly drafted edge rushers from the last 2 years, and Aiden Hutchinson and Will Anderson returned value and skyrocket into the top 5 or 6 of your
Yeah.
edge rankings, probably.
Right. Yeah, Will Anderson's I think 4.
And Hutchinson is what?
No, Hutchinson's 4, Will Anderson's 5.
There you go. So they're already top 5 edge assets. So, yeah, and especially in big play leagues, which we should point out, this is a PPR draft, I would assume. Is that what you guys were kind of operating that assumption?
Yes.
And then a big play scoring for IDP?
Big 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So big play and PPR scoring. So, all right. Bobo
You're
breaks.
in a tough pinch here, Joshy.
But you break the IDP seal with
it's open now.
Dallas Turner. And so I'm actually going to go with Jayden Daniels at the 203. I think this dude is pretty good. I think people are going to make a move. Teams are going to make a move up the board for this guy. And even though he does run like Johnny Knoxville, I can't remember who it was that made that comparison. Maybe
Nate Tice.
Nate Tice made that comparison. Just the dual threat quarterbacks, I'm always going to be very intrigued by them.
Yep.
So give me Jayden Daniels, Heisman winner. I mean, SEC, I don't think you can go wrong with him here at the 15th overall player at 203. Now, this is where I'm torn because I'm basically looking at like a Blake Corum, running back out of Michigan, or a Jared Verse out of Florida State. Those are the two that I'm kind of torn between right now. And I'm going to go with Jared Verse. We're going to go Jared Verse. We're going to get the second IDP off the board and leave Blake Corum and Sad McConkey for one of you guys to take potentially. So I'm going Verse. I think Verse is going to get top 10 draft capital and be right there neck and neck with Dallas Turner as far as two very sexy, safe edge assets from this class, Eddie.
Yep. Yeah, I think those two are by far and away the two prizes at edge. We like Latu. I think he's a technician, but everything I've been seeing, he's probably not going to test very well. It's so important that these guys test well. I mean, if you look at the top, 15 edge rushers as far as dynasty assets, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson, all these guys in that mold, they're all elite athletes. So, if we want these upper echelon assets, they're probably going to need to, test well.
Yeah, I was looking at, so this is from Bet365. They have the number 1 overall draft pick odds. And, of course, Caleb Williams is number 1. But this is I couldn't find, first defensive player. Here we go. First non-QB selected odds. This is probably what we're looking for here. Jared Verse is the first defensive player.
Yeah.
And then it looks like Latu is second and Dallas Turner is third. Wow. So that's what Vegas thinks, at least right now. We'll see how that shifts as we get Now, it is interesting in the number 1 overall draft pick odds, the first defensive player you see is actually Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Interesting.
So, which makes sense. I mean, cornerbacks tend to...
Is he the best? I hadn't been seeing him mocked that high.
Your boy's getting high, though. Old Cooper. Yeah, he's been a lot of, top 10s that I've seen.
Yeah, I think that's just everyone falling in love with him.
Probably.
How can you blame him?
Yeah.
I've been seeing the guy from Alabama get mocked pretty high as far as cornerbacks go. Terrion Arnold. He's one of the better corners in this class. He's usually the first one I see coming off the board, and then the guy out of Toledo has had a nice little surge here. Mitchell, Quinion Mitchell, I think.
Yeah, sound off in the comments if you found another source for first IDP off the board, but at least from Bet365, it is Jared Verse.
Yeah, I think as of right now, that makes a lot of sense. I think right now, when you look at the statistics, you're going to see Jared Verse was the most productive, right? And he's kind of had the most hype. But I think once you start digging into the analytics and when you look at the combine, I feel like Turner's going to test better. People are going to realize, this guy is 2 years younger than Verse. The production at SEC school was there.
Well, I will say the mocks have Dallas Turner about 4 picks ahead by average. So 14.9 for Jared Verse.
But just I feel like most people
10.3.
Most people just like Verse right now.
Yeah.
And that's that'll probably flip.
That will shift,
I
right?
think so.
That feels like one of those things that's going to shift. So, but Verse goes off the board at 204 to me. Back over to you, Bobo, at the 205. What you thinking?
Okay, so this is tough. This is a really tough spot. But, man.
Need your quarterback. We all got our quarterback situation figured out.
I'm feeling real good about mine.
I'm going to reach a bit here. and I'm going to take a guy that I like, and I'm going to take Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette is just a guy that maybe I've watched him some in the SEC. I talked about it in the mock. He completely rolls his pants up into basically basketball shorts with no calf pads, no.
Does he have good looking
pads.
legs?
Oh, great legs. And
Show him
then
off.
he does the whole Zeke, just like roll that jersey up underneath.
He's trying to show as much skin as possible.
Dude's ripped up too. But no, Xavier Legette at South Carolina, he is 6'3", so another large dude, 6'3", 227. His 2023 stats there at South Carolina: 71 receptions, 1,255 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I just think Xavier Legette is going to be a guy that we're going to see continue to rise through the combine process. I think he's going to run a decent 40. I think he's going to look good in the combine. You know, the drills are running and everything. And then I don't know. I do need help here. I need the NFL to tell me where to value Xavier Legette. Now, if they're falling on him, if he gets pushed down in drafts, there's going to be a little bit of a concern. But I don't know. I'm fine with a reach here at the 205.
So two of your mock drafts had him selected. PFF had him at 25.
Yeah.
PFN had him at 59, so he averages out to 42, which is where the Minnesota Vikings are picking.
Nice.
So what were you going to say, Eddie?
Yeah, Legette, he was at the Senior Bowl, so they actually have measurements on him. This is a great example. We said, 6'3", because what they had him listed as.
220.
Came in at 6'1", 223.
Wow, that's a short boy.
So he's 2 inches smaller than what
That's why he was rolling up his pants, and his shirt was distract from the fact that he was 2 inches shorter.
That's what happens with a lot of these guys, you know. You never really know until they actually weigh in and get measured at the combine.
Wow,
so
that's interesting.
They almost always are an inch shorter. It's never,
They're usually not taller. Almost
Never.
always shorter.
Like it was 6'8".
Never. But yeah,
he somehow was almost 7 foot.
He's interesting. I mean, similar to someone we talked about earlier, production this past year, but not a lot before that.
Yeah.
Like he had 71 catches, 1,255 yards, and 7 touchdowns this past year, but previously it was 18 catches, 167 and 3 touchdowns, 8 catches, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown. So
At least he got one.
question mark, but you're at this point in the draft where there's going to be question marks.
Yeah. So speaking of question marks, Addy, you are at 206 and 207. I think now you can safely bring Lad McConkey home. Are we going to let this guy keep sliding?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get Lad.
Okay, I was going to say, let's
Get Lad. I love that too. I mean, I'm going to have a lot of fun with the first name. I'm going to probably change my team name to Unreal Lads.
Unreal Lads.
It'll be something like that.
Everyone
will love it.
Everyone will get a good laugh out of it.
So let's go with Lad. I mean, we talked about him earlier. Think he could be a lot of fun in the right situation. Needs a good quarterback, though.
Yeah, he does.
And then let's get another one of these running backs. I feel like these running backs have fallen a little too far. There's 2 I really like here.
I know.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I feel like with Blake Corum, like everything I'm seeing is he's definitely getting drafted by the Chargers and Harbaugh. And if that happens, I mean, that's
insane.
That's great for
That
his
would
value.
be very fun.
And he was really, really, really productive in college. Fun player too, like a little bowling ball. He's 5'7".
5'7".
220.
Good Lord.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
He seems like a muscle hamster type.
But I really like Braelon Allen a lot too.
All right.
And he's a we'll see what they have him listed at 6'2", 245. That may be a little high.
He is absolutely 5'10".
But Braelon Allen was one of these guys that was productive immediately there at Wisconsin, Wisconsin has a track record for having good running backs. He's got really fun tape too. So I'm gonna go Braelon Allen here.
All right.
And Lad McConkey.
Old Lad. Lad finally finds a home.
It's a fun little pairing.
Look at you. All right, so Braelon Allen at the 207, Lad McConkey at the 206. Bobo, you are up at 208. What are you thinking here?
Wow. What am I thinking here?
Drake Maye still on the board. Blake Corum, Malik Washington, Tahj Washington.
I still
Devontez
love a lot
Walker.
of these receivers, though. That's
Me
the thing.
too.
Like, there's that. I wanted to get some of those running backs just because I love so many of these receivers.
So I think that's where I'm going. I think I'm going to go Tahj Washington here.
All right.
It could be a little bit because he caught the ball from Caleb Williams. Maybe Caleb Williams made Tahj Washington look a little bit better than we thought. But he is a touch undersized, 5'11", 175. But I think he creates really good separation. I think he is really dynamic after the ball. I think that Tahj Washington is going to be in the similar vein of like a Tank Dell, Josh Downs from last year. He's not going to be in that upper echelon of 175-pound first round guys that we talked about. Troy Franklin, then who else is it? Adonai Mitchell.
Xavier Worthy,
sorry. But Tahj Washington is a nice little consolation prize at the 208. I'm 100% fine with that.
All right, 208, Tahj Washington. Thoughts, Addy?
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. Productive pretty much every single year. He had 1,062 yards last year and 8 touchdowns. 785 and 6 touchdowns in 2022, and then 602 yards and 1 touchdown on 54 catches in 2021. So everything you love to see. He's going to be one of those guys that I target. Late second, early third, and I feel like he'll slip. You know.
Oh yeah, you could see him.
There'll be a lot of these guys there'll be some of the Again, I like a lot of these guys in this range that we're going to get to probably in the next little bit.
I agree.
So I'm fine, just letting whichever one fall to me in the, third round, fourth round. We saw Tank Dell get drafted in the 4th round last year in a lot of leagues.
It's true.
In leagues that were combined with the IDP. So, I mean, that'll happen again this year with some of these guys.
Yep.
Boy, can I trade this pick? Is that possible?
Sure.
209, 210. I guess I'm going to go Corum because if you do get a Chargers landing spot, that would be pretty sweet.
So that gives us our top 4 running backs were Corum, Braelon Allen, Jonathon Brooks, and Trey Benson.
There you go.
That feel pretty normal?
Yep. I think that's right. I have 2 more that I'm kind of, maybe would lump into that back end, but I think NFL-wise, that's probably going to be the first 4 that you see. The other ones are kind of a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
But
we'll see. One of those guys, who knows?
The important part is that I don't feel like we're overdrafting the running backs right now. I'm not drafting the running backs over a lot of these pretty elite wide receivers. Maybe there's one of them that ends up good draft capital, crazy combine, and then all of a sudden the hype just gains for them. But I'd temper my expectations a little bit with the RBs in this class.
All right, Bobo, talk to me about Devontez Walker.
Yeah.
That's kind of who I have my eyes on right now. Drake Maye still on the board. Malik Washington still on the board. Devontez Walker, I think, also goes by Tez Walker.
Yeah, so Tez Walker played ball there at North Carolina. He kind of got knocked down a little bit at the Senior Bowl. I don't know if you've seen the recent stuff, but there was a lot of hype from him. 63 receptions, a little bit over 1,000 yards, and 2 touchdowns over his 2 seasons there at North Carolina, which is okay. But they said the separation was not great, and then his hands, I think he dropped a bunch of balls at the Senior Bowl. So as much as I kind of like Tez Walker as a nice little sleeper, I'm probably fading him just a touch now.
Okay, well, I'm out on Tez Walker and scrambling. I'm going to go with Bucky Irving. I'm going to go running back again. I'm going to double up on RB. And, I just feel like, again, I think running backs return value a lot sooner. So at this part in the draft, I'm happy to go RB, and maybe I get one that pops.
I'm surprised Adam doesn't like Bucky Irving a little bit more. He seems like an Adam guy. 1,180 rushing yards in 2023, 11 touchdowns, 56 receptions for 413 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then back in 2022, over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 31 receptions, 299 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. Best lateral movement in the class, in my opinion, 5'10", 195. I don't feel like he's going to be a full-time back in the NFL. He's going to be very rotational. He's going to be a third-down type of back. But I do feel like at the end of the second, for like a potential like blow-up running back, I think Bucky Irving has that like boom potential to him.
Bucky Irving's kind of a fun name, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Sounds like a Marvel character.
Yeah, but
I'm pissed at you for that pick.
You're right. I mean, that is a great pick, especially with the catching stuff. And this is every league I'm in is a PPR league, so I'm always looking for those guys that catch a ton of passes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that pick quite a bit there, Joshy. Good job.
Thank you, baby.
Run it back.
Complete shot in the dark. Just picked him because of the name. Bobo.
I think that's where your value is at this point, right?
Yeah, just in names.
Your running backs. I mean,
oh yes, the running backs as well.
The
Yeah.
names.
No, I agree.
Draft him based on vibes.
Bucky.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird. that-
Vibes is good though.
Throwback. It's a throwback name.
I feel like some people in the second round of IDPs, like we've seen it. I mean, we're pretty intelligent in the IDP
Speak for
world.
yourself.
Oh, not me.
I'm dumber than a bag of hair.
But there are some drafts that I get in where you see some cornerbacks jump off the second round. You see some safeties all of a sudden go. And you see in IDP, people want to be like, I got to be the first to Latu. I got to be the first to Chop Robinson. I got to be the first to, Cooper DeJean. It just some of that offense is fun because you just kind of let the Audric Estimes fall. I think that's how you say his name. Who did you just take? Let the Bucky Irvings
Bucky
fall.
Irving.
Bucky, remind me of Bucky's.
I know.
Yeah.
God, it's
Bucky
coming soon to
Nuggets.
Smiths
Damn,
Grove.
boy.
20 minutes up the road.
They said
soon
May.
enough.
They said May.
They said May?
Yeah, it was
No
April.
way.
They pushed it
No,
back.
no
It's
way.
going to be a mess.
Yeah, it's going to be June before that thing's
Poor
open.
Smiths
Maybe
Grove.
July.
Prayers up.
Yeah.
Poor town.
It's going to be great for us, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
Brisket breakfast.
Breakfast.
Standing
Oh.
Wednesday lunch. Can we just have Wednesday lunch up there? It's
Let's pod from Bucky's.
Yeah.
Like,
Fine
let's
with
go
that.
up there together. Let's pod in the parking lot.
every 40 seconds you just
That'd be
hear them
great.
hollering about brisket on the board.
Brisket on the board. Bobo, you are on the board here at
was good.
211.
That was really good.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
All right, this is simple.
You don't sub me out.
This is simple here. We're going Ernest Jones 2.0. Give me Cooper.
I thought about Cooper
Give me Cooper.
at 210, but the offensive talent still seemed like there was some good guys on the board.
Your boy Edgerrin Cooper?
Edgerrin Cooper.
Okay, that's good. Good clarify there.
Not Cooper DeJean.
Not Cooper
That's
DeJean.
coming.
My apologies.
We got to go deep enough in this
I
draft
have heard
for Eddie
Cooper
to
talk
get
to
Cooper
Ernest
DeJean.
Jones a little bit.
What did we say? Didn't we
Wait a
say
second.
that Cooper DeJean could make his way into the second round? Maybe the third
Yeah,
round?
I think that's where he's going to go.
So we've at least got to go through the third round in order to get Cooper DeJean in here.
Mm-hmm.
But Edgerrin Cooper, I
Yeah,
mean,
love it.
we talked about him on the IDP rookie primer.
Mm-hmm.
If this guy's drawing Ernest Jones comps,
That's your that's
Sign
your
me up for
LB1
that.
in the class.
100%.
who's
100%.
yours?
Payton Wilson.
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah, we get it.
I like Payton Wilson.
Sure, it's a vibe.
And we have been burnt by a lot of these types.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to be
Ooh.
enamored with his athleticism. I bet.
This is a nice fit potentially. 43.5 average for Edgerrin Cooper. That would be the Las Vegas Raiders. That would be kind of fun.
It'd be nice.
Be kind of fun.
Play for Pierce.
I guess it depends. If you get him in this range, yeah, who cares? But if people start falling in love with him and it bumps him up into like early second, I'm just going to sit it out.
I just
probably.
don't feel like the LBs are really going to get shot up this year. I feel like the 3 or
Probably
4
not.
edges are going to be the first off the board.
Probably not. Yeah, I feel like if you got a early third and you're wanting a linebacker, you could probably get your pick of them.
Most drafts, you're probably going to see the Latus and the Chop Robinsons start to come off the board in this area. I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, Addy, 212.
212. Take us home.
Cooper DeJean.
You're going Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
We're doing 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Probably do 3. Yeah,
Or
we're at
4.
about an hour right now, so 3 will
We
take
can
us to about
We
an hour
do
and a half.
6 or
We
7.
can speed them up.
So we have them. Are you worried at all about positional eligibility with
No,
Cooper?
not at all. Not at all.
As far as fantasy platforms are concerned.
So
You'd rather see him as a
he'll be a CB. I would imagine like RSO.
That's a nice little cheat code
That'd be
though if he's
amazing.
getting
And then I mean
box or
I
slot.
don't care. He's like a Witham Spoon type. I mean he's a really good tackler, probably the best tackling corner in the class. Not probably, I think he is. Then we know about the athleticism, the ball.
I know
skills.
all about his high school athletic accomplishments. I could rattle them off right now off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean,
Long jump champion.
Love that.
We've talked a lot about him. So, I mean, I think that he's just a playmaker. We talk about playmakers a lot. You want playmakers on your team, on your fantasy teams. This is a playmaker. And
It's
so,
okay. It's okay to go after playmakers.
Yeah.
and have fun.
Yeah,
playing
and I mean,
fantasy
and
football.
if he does hit, I mean, you have a positional advantage. At cornerback, or even if it's you're on sleeper, and it's a DB. If he's someone that averages 15, 16 points per game,
worth it.
you're good.
Like Sig
And
always says,
hopefully
be a
your
bean
league-
counter. Be
Right.
a bean counter.
And hopefully your league rewards punt returns, kick returns. If you listen to us, they probably do. So
It should.
They better.
You should be rewarded for doing things on the football field that positively contribute to your team.
and so he could really be insane in those type of leagues. So yeah, I'm comfortable going Cooper DeJean here. In fact, I think I actually have him as my
Is your IDP 103, right?
IDP 103. Yes,
Wow.
it's Dallas
Good pull.
Dallas Turner at 1, Jared Verse at 2, and then DeJean at 3.
Okay. So there we go. Let's recap the second round for folks. So at the 201, Jonathon Brooks, who is a running back, Dallas Turner, edge, Jayden Daniels, quarterback, Jared Verse, edge, Xavier Legette, wide receiver, McConkey, wide receiver, Braelon Allen, running back, Tahj Washington, wide receiver, Blake Corum, running back, Bucky Irving, running back, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker, Cooper DeJean, safety, CB, DB.
Hybrid.
Yeah. So there you go.
Athlete.
You are back up at the 301, Addy. Cooper DeJean is off the board. So you made the easy choice. Now make the hard choice.
Okay. There's still a lot of receivers that I love. So I'm going to go with one of the smaller receivers in the class that I like out of Virginia, Mr. Malik Washington.
All right.
5'8", 192, but the boy is explosive, extremely shifty. One of the better route runners in the class. 110 catches, 1,426 yards, and 9 touchdowns last season. 65 catches, 694, 1 touchdown in 2022. 44 catches, 578, 2 touchdowns in 2021. So solid production immediately when he got there. Played a ton out of the slot. 84% of his snaps came out of the slot last year. So, he's going to be kind of like a Tank Dell type, honestly. That's really what I see him as. Really good as far as yards per out run, 2.18. So another one of these just small, shifty guys. I know the size isn't great, but you can get open. You can make it in this league.
Yeah, don't worry as much about the size if you're a playmaker. And it sounds like he is a playmaker. So kicks off the third round, Malik Washington. Bobo, thoughts on that pick? And what are you thinking at 302?
I love that pick, especially if Malik Washington does some punt and kick return stuff in the NFL. Pay attention to that because if you follow Big Three scoring, which you should, that includes punt and kick return, and that really elevates a guy like Malik Washington. But, yeah, I think we kind of saw a little bit of this size stuff squash last year by Tank Dell and Josh Downs types. Tank Dell was a electric punt and kick return guy out of
Houston?
That's right. Look at you. And didn't he do something ACL?
Yeah.
Was it ACL? I thought it was like a broken leg or something.
I think it was ACL. I'll double check.
Hope I didn't slow him down. But anyways, no, I love that pick. And at the 302, it's time for me to take a quarterback, and I'm going to take Drake Maye.
All right.
I don't know that I believe in Drake Maye yet, but, I mean, the size and the stats in the third round.
You're right. Fractured fibula.
That's what I did in
That's
college.
good.
It's not fun. 6'4", 230.
Better than ACL, though, I
Yeah,
guess.
I think so.
I think a broken bone.
Broken
is
bones are
better than a
always better
ligament.
than ligaments. Yep.
I disagree. Hardcore. I'll let y'all have this bar.
Have you
leg.
torn your ACL and fractured your
I've
fibula?
broken my wrist, and that still gives me issues.
I broke my fibula in college.
Is that the outside bone or the
It's
inside?
the outside,
Yeah.
and they had to put a bar in it with a bunch of screws. And my lateral movement is pretty rough. Like playing
You
basketball
have a
and
bar.
stuff.
Does Tank Dell surely to God not have a
I don't
bar?
know.
Oh,
I
he's
don't-
got
I don't
two.
think
He
so.
got 8 bars.
Yeah. His legs all bars now.
I don't know. Drake Maye. We'll see what we got with him. I don't know if y'all love Drake Maye. I don't dislike him, but he's a step above probably J.J. McCarthy and Bo
Nate
Nix
Tice
to
has
me.
him as his QB1 in this class. So take that for what it's worth.
3,600 yards in 2023 and 24 touchdowns, and then 4,300 yards and 38 touchdowns in 2022.
Probably landing in Washington,
Sure.
more than likely.
Yep.
There is the possibility that Washington moves up to 1 to
Yeah.
take Caleb Williams there with the who's the offensive coordinator? That's the hot boy. All I can think of is Kirk Cousins. He's the USC Cliff Kingsbury.
There you go.
Cliff Kingsbury is now the new offensive coordinator.
The hot boy.
The hot. I mean, he is a hot boy.
Yeah, he's really hot.
He's a
He's
hot
very
looking
cool.
dude.
Got
Very
that
cool.
place,
Very cool.
that cool,
Yes,
cool
cool
pad.
shade.
Like James Bond mansion.
Yeah, tons of coke.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here, tons of coke. I'm sitting here at the 303 and 304. I'm just going to go with some of the wide receivers, having doubled up on running back the last go round. Let's go wide receiver and go Devontez Walker at 303. And then let's go with Johnny Wilson at the 304. So
I'll get you a big boy.
get some
sir.
big boys. Yeah, I have now, as much as we say, like, I don't worry about small receivers if they're playmakers, you always just want size, speed freaks in the NFL if all things are equal, just because they tend to hold up better. It's a size, speed league, so bigger guys tend to do better. And so, yeah, give me the big boys.
Johnny Wilson, 6'6", 237,
Could be a tight end.
35-inch arms. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing as well. But yeah, he was fun. I mean, him and Keon Coleman were a fun duo at Florida State. He had 617 yards on 41 catches for 2 touchdowns last year. 43 catches, 897, and 5 touchdowns in 2022. Yards per route run were good, 2.52. He had a 14.4 ADOT, so he's catching the ball down the field. Played out wide 81% of the time, 19% in the slot. So, fun player. He's interesting.
I'll take interesting at 304.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say you probably got the best red zone, one of the best red zone threats in the class.
Agreed.
I'd have to imagine.
Totally was my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, what was this? What pick was this? 30 what?
304.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, 304. Back to you at 305, Bobo.
Okay.
Got yourself a quarterback now. Welcome to the quarterback club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you going with next?
It's great to be here. I'm going to take a tight end. I'm going to take Jatavion Sanders.
All right.
He is a big glaring bright spot here at the in the third round. While you do have, and I'm knocking your picks, but while you do have some of these, will they work out, will they won't type wide receivers, I think a guy like Sanders post combine, could really see some of his draft. I don't know what I'm saying.
Draft capital.
Rise. I'm sitting here trying to look at his stats also. So 682 yards in 2023 with 2 touchdowns. And then in 2022, a good season also, 613 yards and 5 touchdowns. He averaged 15 yards per catch in 2023 and 11.4 in 2022. So
You had him at 211 in your mock.
I like Jatavion, man. I think this is
So,
just going to be a guy that
Nice value
the
here.
closer it gets to the draft, you're going to hear his name more and more.
All right. So Jatavion Sanders goes at the 305. Addie, it is back to you for 306 and 307. We've got some good edge rushers still on the board. We've got Ricky Pearsall and Jalen Polk. We've got Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Laiatu Latu, Chop Robinson, Ray Davis, J.J. McCarthy, the aforementioned. Payton Wilson, still on the board as well if you're looking at linebackers. So take us inside that brain. What you thinking?
Still some really good receivers that I don't really want you boys to get. So I'm going to get 2 more receivers.
Okay.
I'm going to add to the room. This is wide receiver 5 and 6, I think.
Can
coming
I
up.
guess them?
Yeah.
One of them is Ricky Pearsall.
No.
Wow.
Oh,
okay. One of them.
I do like him though.
One of them is Roman Wilson,
Yes.
and the other one is Jamari Thrash.
No.
Oh, okay.
Bobo striking
This
out
is
left,
this
right,
is
center.
this is what someone I've been rising on recently.
All right, hit us with it.
Javon Baker out of UCF.
Okay.
Really fun player. I mean, electric after the catch. He's wide open a lot. Yards per route run, really, really good. 2.53. That's some of the best in the class. 14.7 ADOT. Played out wide 81% of the time. Played in the slot 19% of the time. I mean, I know it's UCF, but he's a fun player. And this range, I mean, I'm totally fine taking a shot on Javon Baker. But Roman Wilson, he's someone that it's been rising a lot recently. Had a really good Senior Bowl showing.
Yep.
But it was just an offense that wasn't really going to help him as far as production goes. But I think he has all the makings of someone that you want as a receiver. Also, really good metrics, 2.33 on the yards per out run. I use that a lot. That's a really telling statistic. I mean, you want your pretty much every prolific receiver has had a good yards per out run in college. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to see a good yards per route run, and I want to see some separation.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. I think that's what produces good wide receivers in the NFL.
Okay, so Javon Baker goes 306.
I like that. A sneaky pick.
Are you going another wide receiver at 307?
I went Roman
Wilson.
Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I
Roman
think I
Wilson.
called one of them.
You did. You went
You
one
did.
for 3.
Josh.
You got Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
Roman Wilson played 60% of the snaps in the slot. So,
Get you slot boy.
yes, sir.
All right.
And lad.
We are rounding out the third round here, Bobo. 308. You are back up.
Where am I going?
Oh, hell if I know. We were starting to stray into the deep
Let's
end.
see.
I already have my pick, so I'll tell you if I'm right. Tell me
Running
if you're
back?
right. No.
Receiver?
No.
Linebacker.
No.
Edge.
Interior.
You're going chop.
No.
You're
Going
going
Latu.
If I have the potential to get what this guy named the #1 dynasty ranker at the IDP show on Twitter said could be, comp to Jalen Phillips. If I could get the next Jalen Phillips at the 309, 308, why would I not?
Yeah.
Answer that, Josh. It was not rhetorical.
I was just thinking, Addie's probably not the one you're subbing out, so it may be me. And that hits like a ton of bricks. So I'm kind of shook right now.
I like Latu, man. I think
Could be the first edge off the board. I think all three of these guys are in play.
how high
I really
is
do.
too high to take Latu?
I think late third round,
Yeah, this is
we're right in range here.
But I'm
This
saying
is where
like-
Tyree
But
Wilson
I'm
was
saying
going.
how high is too high? Like
probably like late second. I don't really
Yeah.
want it's.
Okay.
Well, and the testing is going to be important. I don't think he's going to test exceptional.
Is there any worries with the injury stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think that's why third round, it's like, okay, we feel safe here.
Yes.
This is a safe place.
Yeah, with the other two edge rushers, I'm fine taking them in the second.
Yeah.
They don't have the questionable medical stuff at all. And also I think they're going to be elite athletes.
But your Latu still over Chop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Me too.
Latu's 3 for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Latu is I mean, even if he doesn't have the athleticism, he's the most polished out of all these guys. Tons of counters.
Yeah.
Like if the first move doesn't work, he's got his second one to immediately go to. So I mean, he's the most polished out of all, like, as far as moves go.
And then Chop, because of the lack of production, is a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah.
You just see what you got with Chop. If he works out, that's fine. If not, it was a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah, if Chop lands in a fun situation
Yeah.
across from another really good edge rusher, I'm going to be a lot more interested in Chop Robinson.
You
Yeah.
see Chop go to Houston or something. To
Or
try to
or
replace
somewhere
Grenard.
with like
That'd be fun.
a smart defensive coordinator, something like that. That'd be-
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here at 309 and 310. I have one IDP, which was Jared Verse back in the second round. Jared Verse was my 204. And so sitting here at 309, 310, I am kind of looking at some of the guys on the board. And for me, this is less about offense versus defense value and just about getting some of the best players at their position. Because if your scoring is weighted correctly, all positions are valuable. Now, some positions are more replaceable than others, but at this part of the draft and beyond, I would rather just take the guys that are the best at their position. So, sorry, Addy. Got to go with Payton Wilson at the 309. And then we are very bad heart, very replaceable. Ray Davis at the 310.
Ooh, I like it.
So, Kentucky boy, running back. Again, I want running backs because I think they can return value earlier than wide receivers. I think it's easier to play running back in the NFL than it is to play wide receivers. So I think you're going to be able to use these guys a lot sooner.
I like those picks, Joshy. That's,
there we go.
That's pretty smart. And I like them mostly because you left my boy Jeremiah Trotter Jr. on the board. So
All right.
go ahead and rack him up.
311, Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Yep. I'll take my LB2 there at the end of the third. I think from an IDP perspective, you've got the 3 big edges gone. You've got now the 3 big linebackers gone, in my opinion, and you have Cooper DeJean gone. To me, that's a pretty clear.
That feels pretty good.
How many players is that? That's 7 guys.
Yeah. 3 linebackers, 3 edges in the top
and Cooper.
TB.
That feels like the break to me. After that, now you're looking at Chop. You're looking at Chris Braswell, Braylon Trice. If you want to mix in like the Cameron Kinchins, if you want to mix in one of the other corners,
Some of the IDLs.
Jerzon Newton.
yeah.
So I don't
But he
think
probably doesn't go before third.
no.
You know?
I think that's a 4th or a 5th round, maybe
Right.
a 5th round draft pick.
All right, Addy. Take us home here at the 312.
Good picks, Josh. Those are some of my favorite you've made so
Thank
far.
you, baby.
Yeah,
Do what
it was
he can.
unfortunate.
Ray Davis was annoying.
You can't tell me who you like because I'm just kind of taking notes. Again, this is a learning experience for me. This is good practice. We're getting some live practice in here on the pod.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go with one of these receivers. I'll probably go with Ricky Pearsall,
Okay.
another Senior Bowl riser. But I mean, you watch that guy; he routes people up, just smooth,
He does.
good catcher of the football.
SEC.
I like him. I think he could be
Right.
he could be fine in a right situation. Goes to a fun offense. He could be good.
I always love the good catcher or thrower of the football as opposed to, I don't know, baseball or a beach ball,
Sure.
a T-shirt. You know, did you see there was I saw this on John Boy, which is a great YouTube. Love those guys. But they have the highlights, and they I swear it was a company or a team or an organization giving away, I want to say like $200,000 if you caught like a home run ball barehanded, one-handed, no bobble. You had to catch it clean in the air with one hand.
Wow.
And I was thinking to myself, I think it was like $200,000 they were giving away if you caught this ball in the air one-handed. I was like, could I do that in the stands, right? It's not like it's just a wide open field.
Yeah.
One-handed, no bobble. And the answer was absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No chance.
They have a lot of people try it.
Oh, people were falling over each other. I mean, one guy got close. I think his buddy got in his way and it tipped off his fingers.
One guy got killed.
Yeah, one guy took it to the dome piece.
What's ironic, I think, about that is that, you know, like I'm right-handed. I throw the ball right-handed. But if I'm doing that, I'm 1,000% catching the ball
100%.
right-handed.
Yes, I'm not trying to catch with my left. I catch with my left with a glove on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to catch it with my most coordinated hand, which is my right. So you don't typically want to catch with your meat hand in baseball, but if $200,000 is on the line and I only got one hand to use and I got to catch it clean, that's going to be a right-handed catch.
Let's go through this fourth round.
Bobby, I'm in the deep waters here.
Me and Bob can do it.
Let's do it. I think because I just want to learn. I haven't done a whole lot of these mocks. And
I'm
stuff
still on the
yet,
clock.
So yeah, I want to hear it.
Good. I like this.
Yeah.
There's a running back that I really like.
I help you, Joshy.
Jaylen Wright out of Tennessee. I think this is someone that's going to rise up the ranks here pretty soon. So yeah, 401. Jaylen Wright's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's go through these quickly.
I'm going to double down and go running back also, but I'm going to go Audric Estime.
Okay.
I like him. Fourth rounder, I don't know. I don't think you're going to have a lot of boom potential, but I think he could be a solid role there in the NFL. So let's go Estime. And I need a running back. So,
all right, Bobo, you get to pick this one for me, 403.
Josh, I think it's time to take Chop Robinson off the board.
All right, Chop Robinson goes
I feel like
to
at the 403, the risk versus reward there is going to be worth it for Chop. Do you need a position or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's go. Let's take you a wide receiver here in the fourth. Let's go Jamari Thrash. I think Jamari Thrash is going to have a little bit of pop potential maybe in the NFL. And in the fourth rounder, you don't have a whole lot of cost acquisition.
This is like when
behind
you
it.
guys were redrafting with John when I got sick and had to go throw up.
That's exactly.
So-
Yeah, you did throw up. He was just nervous.
Yeah,
He was
no, I
nervous.
was definitely sick. I definitely had to feel the
Big
voice.
lie.
Macri, he does that to you.
Yeah.
All right, so here at the 405, I am going to go.
Spencer Rattler.
No, heavens no, we're not doing that.
You gotta like Rattler a little bit.
No, not at all.
Not in super flex leagues. I mean, like I feel like he's gonna. I think he could be okay.
I think he'll be in the UFL in about 5 years.
Maybe.
All right, y'all might hate this, but I don't care. I just want to talk about the guy Cedric Gray, linebacker out of North Carolina. The guy I'm kind of rising on, getting a little bit of chatter, a little bit of hype, and
You didn't draft him for me, did you?
I drafted him for me.
Okay, good. Then what you tank in my squad?
So now Addy goes 406 and 407.
Yeah, Cedric Gray. He's one of the more productive linebackers in the class out of UNC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I like that pick, Bobo.
He's quick.
Young too, 21.3 years of age.
Before this pod ends, we have to hate at least one pick.
Oh, these are all. They're
Not
all
just like, oh, you
smashes.
took my guy. It's like,
These
oh
are
no, that was terrible, Josh.
I mean, you know,
smashes.
who knows? Who knows?
We're shooting in the dark here. The combine hasn't even happened yet.
No. We got LEDs on.
That's right.
Gonna be a lot of like
So I'm on.
gruesome
I got
injuries.
2 spots here, right?
You
two
sure
spots.
do.
You got 406 and 407.
Penix still on the board.
Oh, Penix.
No, thank you.
Penix.
So
Yeah,
is
I think
so
this-
is Nix.
Panics at
This
the
is
disco.
one QB. No, thank you.
Nix and Penix,
No, thank you.
Oh, that's weird.
ain't it?
It's almost
That is
like
pretty
Bo
cool.
just took away some letters.
Sure.
That's the kind of analysis you get here on the IDP
Where'd the
show,
P
folks.
go?
I'm just trying to vamp for Addy to think.
Yeah, still a joke.
I guess I'll go with Jerzon Newton here. Let's get a defensive
catch.
tackle off the
No
board.
catch.
We don't hate it. We don't hate it.
I hate it.
He's one of the more productive
Dumb.
DTs in this class. He had 18 sacks at Illinois, 27 and a half TFLs for his career. So we like that. I mean, there's, you look at it, Byron Murphy, Chris Jenkins, some of these other guys, none of them are that productive. Jerzon Newton is pretty much getting mocked in the first round in every single mock I've seen. So we'll go him there. And then let's, IDPs. IDPs are not great this year. I'll be honest.
they thin
After
out
we
pretty
get
quick.
outside of those, those no-brainers. I just don't get really excited about any of these guys. And that could change, I guess, with Combine and draft capital. But
Get your Kinchins.
get your Genshin.
Get your Newbin. Get your Tyler Newbin.
Get your Hicks.
Get your Braswell. That sounds like a porn site.
Yes, sir. It does, doesn't it? Braswell.com.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I want to do another.
Braylon Trice.
Let's not do another IDP.
Get you J.J. McCarthy. How about Jalen Polk? He's just sitting up there.
Yeah, Jalen Polk is a good one here.
Right.
Out of Washington. Let's
I
go.
like him.
Let's go with Polk. I do as well. That's a good pick there.
Related to the former president.
Best friend.
69 catches, 1,159 yards, and 9 touchdowns last season. Across from Rome. Pretty good.
Pretty good, especially with Penix. Old noodle arm.
Let's go Horned Frogs here. Imani Bailey,
This is Bobby's boy.
running back, TCU.
Slower Isaiah Pacheco.
Horned Frogs.
Does he run like he's trying to punish the ground with every
A
step?
lot of effort with
A
his
lot of
runs.
effort. Okay, that's not good.
1,209 yards in 2023, 8 tuds, 25 receptions, 184 yards.
Okay.
Pretty good. Pretty good on the catches.
Addy,
enough.
Bobby took the last 2 of my picks, so you take these 2 picks right here. 409 and 410.
Okay, you're gonna take.
This is good for me. I'm learning.
You're doing great, Josh.
I know. I'm feeling really good.
Your last 2 picks were dynamite.
I'm gonna definitely lose the poll question because of those.
You're gonna take Marshawn Lloyd here.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
This is a no-brainer at this point in the draft.
Love the capital S.
And then you will go. Why don't you go ahead and get Braelon Trice?
Okay,
He's someone that should be. I mean, I think he's gonna get
Yeah.
early second.
Tell the folks about Braelon Trice.
Solid. I mean, as far as production goes, like one of the more productive edge guys. 15 games last year, he put up 49 tackles, 11.5 TFLs, 7 sacks. The year before that, he put up 38 tackles, 12 TFLs, and 9 sacks. So, I think I have him ranked as my edge 5 in this class. So yeah, I like Braelon Trice. I think he's fine.
Okay, there we go. Braelon Trice, 410. Bobo, 411.
Yeah.
We're getting into your part of the draft here.
So I love this guy out of Kansas, the edge. His name is Austin Booker. That's who it is. I couldn't find his last name. There's some draft heads that think if he can learn how to play in the NFL, that he has the power and the speed off the edge to kind of make an impact. So that's the type of guy I'm looking for at the 411.
Okay,
Austin Booker.
412. Addy, wrap us up with the last pick of the draft.
We didn't draft any safeties, did we?
I mean, unless you count Cooper DeJean.
No, 0.
But I remember you saying you weren't really like.
I'm
crazy
not.
about
But
these
one of these
safeties.
guys will separate. One of these guys will get early second round.
You want to know who
capital.
I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Tyler Newbin.
He's getting a lot of buzz out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's one of the better playmaking. He's not going to be like one of these box bangers, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I don't know that any of these guys really are.
You gonna go Cameron Kinchins?
Might go Mike Sandstrill.
I like him a lot.
Don't get you a Sanskrill now.
He's getting comped to like Kenny Moore, I think is what I saw.
There's a T in there. Sandstrill. Sandsteel?
Sanskrill.
So Jaden Hicks looks like one of the more productive tacklers at safety.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we like that it says Hicks. You know, that's what we are.
That's correct,
I
especially
think people
Bobby.
forget that we're from Kentucky.
That's
right.
I apologize for the country accent. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
You want me to
apologize.
change?
Yeah, own your heritage.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
All right.
ask.
I don't have that drop. You know that. It was on the board. It's not there anymore.
Let's go with Hicks. I mean, with us
I've already
being
put him in.
Okay, with
So
us
you're
being Kentucky
taking
boys, it was written. I think that makes a lot of sense for us.
It is written.
But yeah, he's one of the better tacklers. The safeties you're looking at, I think, will be Kinchins, Newbin, Tyke Smith, Cole Bishop,
Tyke.
Kalen Bullock out of USC. He's another one that probably could rise.
Yeah.
I
Get you
see
a
people
Bullock.
get excited about
Get you
him.
You like Benson, not at tight end? He's got a little Senior Bowl hype. I think he played. Anyways, sorry.
All those tight ends are out. Who knows?
Sure.
The RAS is really important when it comes to tight ends. Basically every elite tight end is going to have a really good RAS.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm putting this in here for us, boys. Actually, I sorted it for us. So, let's let's hit the recap of our teams. Addy, kick us off here. You went 101. So look at the draft board here. I've got it sorted for you so you can see your draft in order. Hit us with the recap of your picks.
All right, so 101 had the layup of Marvin Harrison Jr. 106, I had Troy Franklin. 107, Keon Coleman. So just loaded at receiver. Although there's some risk there with those two guys. You know, I definitely feel like we got the order right.
I love the.
Yes.
I'm just recognizing.
I love it.
I do.
But also,
the upside's there. I
That's
got Marvin
accurate.
Harrison. We're safe there. But I mean, these guys.
unless he goes to the Pets.
Who knows? Troy Franklin could be MVS. I saw that's Brett Coleman comped him to that. So we hope Brett's wrong about that one.
Yes. I like that.
112 was Caleb Williams.
That Super Bowl play where he ran 15 yards backwards.
God, that cost his
just
team
like,
the
bro.
game. Game to LeBron. To J.R. Smith meme.
Yes. 112, Caleb Williams is 1 QB, so that was. I feel like that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I think so. He'll go first round.
The
I'm
year
pretty sure.
Mahomes, he's the best prospect we've seen in a while, right?
It reminds me of when Burrow came out. I feel like XFL Burrow was 112, 201 range too.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Richardson last year went what?
106.
There you go. So,
That's dual threat.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Top
probably higher than most
4
1
pick.
QB leagues, I would think,
Yeah, probably so.
but not too much.
And last year's class, I guess, was.
a little down.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you do it over again if you could?
Oh, I think it's hard because Richardson got hurt. I think if he had stayed healthy, he'd have had a top 5 fantasy season, and I think he'd be in the mix for like 102, 103. I really do.
If you didn't have the Colts Phantom, would you rather have CJ Stroud
No.
at 106?
I'd rather have
Hey,
Rich because of the rushing upside. I'm telling you, he's going to be a touchdown monster. They were designing runs for this guy at the goal line repeatedly. I think he was QB1 in fantasy before he went down.
Just got to hope he stays healthy.
I know. That's the thing. That's
Worried
the
about
word.
Jalen Hurts at all? He's had a bad month. He's been hurt, but then the whole accuracy thing at the Pro Bowl was kind of strange.
I was never like that hyped up about him
Yeah.
as a passer. But I mean, he'll be fine.
He'll be
gotcha.
fine.
Yeah.
I like the offensive coordinator upgrade.
Yeah.
I think
The
Kellen
offense
Moore
is
is
so good.
widely overrated, but he's better than what they had there last year. So
It's another kind of like a Brock Purdy situation, honestly. You know, he's got such good talent around him. He doesn't have to be great. He just got to, don't do anything dumb.
Yeah.
Just facilitate the ball to those guys and let them do their thing.
and to be fair, like there was nothing he could have done in that game against the Bucks. They had no shot.
Yeah.
They were blitzing his brains out. They had absolutely
they were banged up,
Yeah, they had
man.
no
Oh, yeah,
chance.
And his
He's been
finger,
hurt
he
for a
had
while.
the fingers, like
Yeah.
it just was bad luck.
It was just a bad year. Sometimes you just have those years
What
where
about you? Stop
everything
yourself.
snowballs.
Hit the finger.
All right, so you didn't finish out your team. You stopped at Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So hit us
sorry.
with the rest of the squad there.
Jonathon Brooks, 201, running back out of Texas. My boy Lad, unreal Lad McConkey, 206.
Unreal.
207, Braelon Allen. That ain't going to happen, I don't think, in most leagues. Cooper DeJean at 212. Of course, Malik Washington at 301. Javon Baker at 306. Roman Wilson at 307. Just taking tons of shots at these receivers. 312, Ricky Parcell.
Ooh.
401, Jaylen Wright. 406, Jerzon Newton. 407, Jalen Polk. 412, Jaden Hicks.
There you go.
I think for the most part, you see
Most part, this is a perfect draft.
it is a perfect draft, but
We feel great.
As you see, I don't feel comfortable really chasing these edge guys or these linebackers yet. If I think I'd be okay with I like where you got Payton Wilson, late third.
Though. I mean, you hate it, but you also like
I mean, it was annoying.
Yeah.
but that's just what
That's my
what
job
you
in-
do.
that's my
what
job
you
in
do,
drafts
man.
and on
That's
this
your favorite thing to
podcast.
do.
Yeah.
So that's just who you are at this point.
Exactly.
So
All right, Bobo. Hit us with your squad.
Yeah, so 102, we went Malik Nabers, 105, Odunze, and then went 108 and 111 with the Texas boys, Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell. 202, took the first IDP with Dallas Turner, defensive end off the board from Alabama. 205, Xavier Legette, wide receiver out of South Carolina. 208, Tahj Washington. 211, the first linebacker off the board, Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M. 302, Drake Maye, University of North Carolina quarterback. 305, Jatavion Sanders, Texas tight end. I almost said Texas A&M, but Texas tight end. Then 308, I took Jalen Phillips Laiatu Latu.
Latu.
defensive end. Then 311, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., my Clemson linebacker boy. 402, took my first running back, Audric Estime. 405, Cedric Gray, linebacker out of UNC. And then I finished up the 408, Imani Bailey, TCU running back, and then Austin Booker at the 411 edge out of Kansas.
All right. So wrapping up here, my squad, 103, we went Brian Thomas Jr., 104, Brock Bowers, 109, Trey Benson, 110, Western Kentucky University boy, Malachi Corley, wide receiver, 203, Jayden Daniels, 204, Jared Verse, first IDP for your boy, 209, Blake Corum, 210, Bucky Irving, 303, Devontez Walker, 304, Johnny Wilson, 309, Payton Wilson, so back-to-back Wilson bros, 310, Ray Davis, 403, Chop Robinson, 404, Jamari Thrash, 409, Marshawn Lloyd, and 410, Braylon Trice. So there you go, folks. A 4-round rookie mock draft with IDPs included. This was a very helpful exercise, boys, because at a certain point, Bobo, you just have to start wrapping your arms around these guys and where they could go in drafts. And this is a fun exercise because it just lets us see if X goes here, Y goes there, what are we left with at Z?
What do we disagree with? What do you think? What will we do differently?
The thing
what have you learned?
I think the thing that you said that really resonated with me was those 7 IDPs in the first, I think, 3 rounds, with Cooper DeJean being the last one maybe, that feels right. The 3 linebackers, right? The 3 edge rushers, and Cooper DeJean.
And then
big old
who knows?
question mark.
Who knows?
I can't wait for Jonah Ellis and the other dude to be drafted.
Chris Braswell, ChrisBrazzers.com.
Yeah, Braswell might get some draft capital.
Mo Kamara. He's someone that I've recently.
What was that first name?
Mohammed Kamara.
I thought it was Moke.
Moke, that would be
sick. That'd be your 101. That'd be too good.
Yeah.
That'd be too real.
I'm trying to think of what I would have done differently. I feel like we did a great job. I hate saying that, but I don't feel like we overdrafted.
It was perfect.
We didn't overdraft
Really,
the
really
running
good
backs.
job by us.
Yeah.
Let the offense
back.
kind of fall. Anyways,
The running backs, we'll see. I expect the running backs to rise a little bit. Let's see. Our first one was where was it?
you took Jonathon Brooks at 201.
Someone took
Josh took
Trey Benson
at 109.
109. That's probably late. I feel like one of those running backs.
109,
rise.
Trey Benson.
I think one of those running backs rise, maybe 2 of them. But for the most part, this is I think how the class is. I think it's wide receiver heavy, like really wide receiver heavy.
Yes, absolutely. 1 running back in the first round.
Yeah.
We'll see. That could be the thing that I think changes because people love running backs in the first round of rookie drafts. Right. So it's just a sexy, fun position.
Also, there's people like Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. There's a ton of free agent running backs right now.
But couldn't you also see the NFL being like, no, we're not going to pay you. We're just going to draft these running backs in the 2nd and 3rd round and just pay them, whatever the contracts are, $4 or $5 million.
But doesn't it always seem like at the combine you see the running backs run and it's always like, gosh, that was not as fast as we thought he was going to be. I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but I think there's going to be a lot of people.
I think these veterans
just settle for less.
I think these veterans, running backs outside of Saquon, I think he's the one. And I don't know about Eckler or Josh Jacobs, but I just feel like
washed at the end of the year.
I think these guys are going to sit on the shelf. I think we're going to see a lot of like Dalvin Cook types that are just like they're cooked, pun intended. They are cooked, and they're going to sit there, and teams are going to take these running backs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds, and not be afraid to plug them in.
Where could Saquon go? Be fun.
I've heard Houston.
Oh man.
Or Cincinnati if they let Joe Mixon go, could be fun.
Trying to think about who has cap.
So
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Bobby would hate that.
I mean, I don't have Pacheco anymore. You do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Come on in.
There you go.
Pacheco long gone.
So there you go, folks. A 5-star
Found that
draft
ground
with
too hard.
1-star hosts. Thank you all so much for checking out this episode. And if you enjoyed it, leave us a 5-star rating and review over on Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating on Spotify, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps us out. And this was, like I said, a fun exercise. We'll probably do another rookie mock maybe sometime in like March after we've had the combine. We're getting a little closer to the draft.
Oh yeah. Yeah, expect a lot more of this type stuff. We're so early this year.
Yep.
We didn't start this until after the combine last year.
We will, of course, have the post-draft rookie mock that Monday after the NFL draft wraps. That'll be our last mock draft episode, but we'll do at least one or two more before then.
Yeah. I hear
This is always fun.
I hear that Sleeper's starting to add rookies
Yes,
potentially for IDP.
they are.
So hop in these best balls with us. We'll start doing the same to all these drafts.
As soon as all the rookies are
Ooh.
available, we'll flip that switch on the best ball drafts,
Yep.
and you can start taking these rooks.
Yep, we're already 3 in on the best balls. So
The ADP, we have our first completed draft, and
Lot of
Evan
fun.
Ringler has the ADP up and running. So as soon as we
Fun.
get a few drafts in there and actually have like a consensus to show you all, we'll send that out through the website. But speaking of the website, theidpshow.com, Adam's best ball ranks go out through the site tomorrow, Friday, February 16th, right around lunchtime. So make sure you're subscribed over there. Paid supporters will get those best ball ranks, and you can have those open as you're going through your best ball drafts.
How many players?
500.
505.
Yep. And we still got the rookies to add in. So
Yeah. Oh.
I think those drafts are like 373, 372, something like that.
correct. Yeah.
So it is
100 more for you if you need them.
Oh, absolutely. Plenty of players to choose from in these drafts and on the ranks as well. So make sure you check it out, theidpshow.com. It'll be going out through the website and youtube.com/@theidpshow. And make sure you follow the IDP After Show as well. Jeff Pomazal, the new host over there, had Evan Ringler on for an intro to IDP Dynasty Leagues. He'll be having Jason King on here in a few weeks to break down the NFL Combine and recap that. So a lot of good stuff happening on the IDP After Show as well. And then for us, next week, we will actually be talking, I believe, Dynasty startup rankings, including offense.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we're jumping back in.
These are with our combined rankings, right?
With the combined rankings. So we'll have those out through the website again.
Yeah. So, folks,
Very soon.
To summarize, we have everything taken care of. You got the IDP
Dynasty,
only rookie stuff.
yep.
You got the Superflex, tight end premium rookie ranks. You
One
have
QB.
1 QB rookie ranks. 500 players ranked for best ball and redraft.
Dynasty rankings are already
Dynasty
out.
rankings.
Combined rankings are coming.
I mean,
What else do you need?
Come on.
And redraft rankings will be available specifically in the IDP show draft kit. So
But you can
literally,
pretty much count on mine being somewhat
the
the same.
best ball will be pretty much the same. Those kind of playmaking types will be pushed up a little bit, but for the most part, those are redraft rankings. So we've got you covered from top to bottom. So yeah, we'll be talking Dynasty startup rankings next episode, including offense, because we know this is the time of year where those startup drafts are happening. So we want to get you ahead of the curve on what you should be thinking about as you head into your startup drafts.
We're not even tired.
No.
Just getting going.
Are we going to do Superflex on that one? Do you want to do a Superflex
Yeah,
startup?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
1 QB for this. We'll do Superflex.
That's what I've done for our combined ranks. They're Superflex, tight end
Agreed.
premium. So.
Okay. So Superflex startup Dynasty rankings episode next week.
Those are basically going to be like a top 100. Me
Yep.
and Bob are going to rank the same 100 players.
And then we'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what we think and
Luke is
maybe
gonna-
some disagreements.
Puka's up there, isn't he?
Booger's gonna be high.
I mean, he's top.
should be.
He's a top
Prepare,
7.
Prepare your hearts. Oh, Superflex, top 7.
No, I'm saying
Wide
receiver.
receiver.
Oh yeah.
Who do you want? Puka or Neighbors? I know Bob's your big Neighbors boy.
Oh, probably Neighbors, right? I mean, if you got a possible Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Neighbors and Harrison,
I need to spend some time praying about that one.
yeah,
It's a tough one
why
right
don't you
there.
pray on that? We'll bring it back for next
Yeah.
week. Dynasty
Meditate.
Startup Rankings. Thank you all for
Love you,
tuning
Poop.
in. We will see you all next week. Until then, y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.
It's the